Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Last week, I started a new series going over the switch skills for each weapon, and talking about the new ones we could see in Sunbreak, now that we kind of have an idea about the types of moves used as switch skills. In my last video, I talked about the greatsword and the longsword, and continuing down the weapon list, I am going to cover the sword and shield and the dual blades this week. To kind of restate some of the points I mentioned in the previous video, I think we are realistically only getting 2 new switch skills for each weapon, one silkbind move and one moveset skill. However, just so I can cover all my bases, I'm going to mainly speculate about 3 switch skills we could see to mirror the 3 we got in base rise, and I might mention some other skills we could get depending on the weapon. Anyways, with all of that out of the way, let's get started by talking about the sword and shield. The sword and shield is another one of the weapons in Monster Hunter that I think did a phenomenal job with the switch skills, but that might just be my personal bias coming through. Starting with the silkbind moves, sword and shield can choose between windmill, a move where you spin your sword on the end of the wire bug silk for invincibility, and Metsu Shoryujiki, a counter where you launch yourself up with the shield to do massive stun damage. The last silkbind the sword and shield has is the falling shadow, a move where you launch yourself upwards and vault off the monster, allowing you to perform a shield bash for stun damage, or a plunging thrust for good elemental damage. Falling Shadow is more than likely the next silkbind to become a switch skill, and since this move deals with aerial combat, it's reasonable to assume that it will be replaced with a grounded silkbind, similar to how both Hammer and Greatsword have an aerial silkbind replaced with a grounded one. Looking at Generations Ultimate, there aren't many hunter arts that we don't already have a modified version of in Rise. Round Force was modified into the Windmill Silkbind move, Sword Dance was modified into the Drill/Switch skill, and Shoryujiki was just ported as Metsu Shoryujiki. The only Silkbind move left for sword and shield is Chaos Oil, a move that causes the hunter to rush forward into a massive wide slash. This wide slash is really the secondary effect in Generations Ultimate, and the primary use of this move is that it applies the effects of all of the oils at the same time, giving you an affinity boost, increased part damage, the ability to exhaust and stun monsters with the sword, and Mind's Eye. In Sunbreak, this move can be a special buff that makes the sword and shield glow blue like the wire bug, and give you similar buffs for a period of time. The dash forward and spin could be adapted as a simple dash forward with the wire bug into a massive spin that deals heavy damage. Moving on to the moveset switch skills, we have the Advancing Slash, which functions as the basic draw attack and X+A attack. This move can be replaced by Sliding Slash, which like the name suggests you slide very low along the ground, and can either vault off of the monster and perform a shield bash or perform a long leap to cover great distance with the weapon. The other switch skill is the Hard Bash combo, which has you perform 3 very quick and powerful shield bashes that do great stun damage. This can be replaced with the Drill/Slash combo, a 3-strike move with the sword that deals great elemental damage. Like I had mentioned earlier, sword and shield currently already cover many of the hunter arts with the switch skills already, so it's best to look at the hunting styles for what we could see now. Aerial style is another one of the playstyles covered very well with Sliding Slash and Falling Shadow, however we don't have much of anything for Adept style. Looking at the moves that Adept Sword and Shield had, one of the least utilized moves is actually one of its Adept evades. In Adept style, the weapon usually had only one Adept evade, unless it was one of the shielded weapons that had the Adept guard point. Sword and Shield is special in this sense that it had 2 Adept evades, the normal roll evade, and the back hop evade. However, this last evade was rarely used because it was very difficult to pull off, and in most situations it was just better to just use the traditional evade it had. Looking at Sunbreak, the back hop evade is a good opportunity to not only make a more forgiving back hop adept evade for sword and shield, but to also bring back a playstyle for sword and shield that fell off in Rise due to Hard Bash and Drill/Slash being such good moves. In Monster Hunter World Iceborne, Sword and Shield received a new move by the name of Perfect Rush, a move that actually required you to time your button presses to match the flashes shown on the hunter to deal really good damage. spamming this combo as many times as you could became the playstyle for Sword and Shield. However, in Rise you can deal more damage by doing the hard bash or drill slash, again because of how good and fast those moves are. So, keeping with the theme of switch skills bringing new playstyles, the regular back hop for Sword and Shield can be replaced with a slower back hop with a slightly longer startup. Just like with Adept style, if you get hit while performing this slower back hop, you immediately dash back and charge forward, starting into the perfect rush combo. A successful counter can result in a temporary attack and affinity buff that only lasts for a few seconds, long enough to perform the perfect rush combo with extra damage. Other than Adept style, there really aren't many other moves that could be given to Sword and Shield. However, this doesn't mean that there is no other switch skill that Sword and Shield could get. Sometimes, like with weapons like the hunting horn, the switch skill doesn't change the moves much, but rather a mechanic that's a core part of the weapon. Looking at Sword and Shield, one of the mechanics that is had that makes it special is that it has the ability to use items while the weapon was unsheathed, meaning it can very quickly heal in a pinch, place bombs or traps, or even buff or heal teammates in danger without breaking the flow of the hunt. As a switch skill, we could see something that trades the ability to use items while unsheathed, but you may be wondering what could possibly replace that ability. Generations Ultimate did introduce a playstyle that matches well with the support and item-based capabilities that Sword and Shield had, but it was unfortunately used very rarely because people tend to avoid playstyles that have a support function. This hunting style was Alchemy style, and it gave the hunter access to an item called the Alchemy Barrel. This barrel had the ability to create items for the hunter to use, from whetstones that boost the buildup of hunter arts, to healing stations, to even flaming bombs that could be fired at the monster. As a switch skill, this barrel can be used to replace the ability to use items unsheathed, and allow the player to create a variety of items. The system can be left relatively untouched, and still have the 5 levels where you shake the barrels. The only difference could be that the oils and generations could be added to the combos in place of things like alchemy rations or other less used items. I will admit though that this switch skill is a bit more out there, and is more of a wish than pure speculation, but hey, the only weapon introduction video to feature alchemy style was the Sword and Shield, so there's already a strong connection between them. As for a more realistic switch skill for the Sword and Shield, I could see the back hop finisher, or Perfect Rush getting a new skill. Perfect Rush could get a new combo path for it, or have a different finisher, or the back hop charge can get a new finisher like the Iceborne Clutch Claw attack. I know I spent a lot of time in this video talking about the Sword and Shield, but that is mainly because the switch skills for dual blades are pretty straightforward. Starting with the Silkbind moves, we have Piercing Bind, a move that attaches a kunai to the monster that doubles the damage you do for a duration of time, much like the Wolf's Maw skill in Generations Ultimate. This can be replaced with Tower Vault, a move that allows you to get up into the air or continue aerial attacks. The fixed Silkbind dual blades currently have is the Shrouded Vault, a simple dash forward with the wire bug that functions like the Adept Evade for the dual blades. A replacement for this skill could be the Aerial Slam, a move in Generation Ultimate where the player would run forward, and if they went over a ledge they would jump in the air and slam straight down. As a Silkbind, this could work a lot like Insect Glaive's Diving Wyvern, where the user throws a line straight in the air, and then another one bringing them straight down, instead of making this move only work if you're near a ledge. Alternatively, dual blades could get a Silkbind version of the Bloodwind Hunter art, where the player throws a line twice in 2 different directions while performing a powerful blade spin, similar to Lance's Spiral Thrust. The next switch skills the dual blades has is Demon Flurry Rush, where the user dashes in a direction they choose while spinning. This move can be replaced by Demon Flight, a move where the user vaults off of the monster, and is able to perform a few different aerial moves on the monster. Next, we have Demon Mode, a state that the user enters in which they charge the weapon to perform extra damage. This can be replaced with Feral Demon Mode, which is basically the same thing except you do a lot more damage with no downsides. Seeing that some of the major moves in Dual Blades' arsenal already have switch skills, all we are left with is the basic X button combo, the X and a Blade Dance move, and the evade as potential switch skill candidates. Starting off with the blade dance combo, I think a good replacement for this move would be a modified version of Spiral Slice, a move in Generations Ultimate where you basically drill into the monster with your dual blades. As a trade-off, this move could deal more hits, but fill the meter slightly less, making it great for inflicting status while still maintaining the trade-off aspect of switch skills. The next move that could receive a switch skill is the evade. For the most part, when you evade as dual blades, it's either a quick step or hop to the side, or in some cases a spinning evade that does damage. This can be replaced with the Valor Run for dual blades, where pressing evade will allow you to run for a brief period or until you cancel out of it with an attack. I could also see them keeping the guard point that the Valor Run had, however that could lead to a situation where the replacement is just better than the original. I hope you enjoyed this bout of speculation and wishlisting. Dual blades and sword and shield both cover their bases pretty well, so it was fun going a bit out there on what we could see for some of the weapons. If you enjoyed this, then please consider supporting my channel, and if you have your own ideas about what switch skills we could see, then please let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.